All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. We're going to explore how a seriously ancient text can actually serve as a highly practical survival manual for your modern life. Now, you hear a name like the Ksitigarbha Sutra, and you probably immediately picture, monks, incense, maybe some remote temples. But what if I told you that this thousands of years old document is actually one of the most grounded, actionable guidebooks out there for navigating the everyday stresses of your life? Today, we're going to unpack the source material not as some rigid religious dogma, but as a literal manual for energy management. And it is perfectly designed for those of us just trying to balance work, a family, and, frankly, our own sanity. Let's be real for a second here. Do you wake up tired before the alarm even goes off? You just kind of drag yourself through a stressful morning commute, deal with a demanding boss, or maybe some really difficult coworkers all day long. And then you come home only to stress out about whether this month's paycheck is actually going to cover the mortgage, the groceries, and all the kids' school supplies. It's a relentless cycle, isn't it? Well, you are definitely not alone in feeling this way. The modern world demands so much from us, especially from working parents who are literally just trying to keep their heads above water and provide for their families. So, our source material makes this incredibly sharp observation about the era we live in right now. It points out that as a society, we have become absolute masters of the material world. I mean, we build towering skyscrapers, we carry literal supercomputers in our pockets, and we've totally mastered global communication. Yet, we've completely neglected our internal well-being. We have all these amazing, convenient communication tools, right? But we've somehow lost the ability to just have a quiet conversation with our own souls. Anxiety, depression, and this general sense of being lost have become the collective symptoms of our time. We're constantly seeking solutions out there when the foundation really needs to be built in here. To actually fix this, we need to understand a core concept from the sutra. But let's translate it into modern vocabulary. The text talks a lot about karma. Now, I want you to totally forget the idea of karma as some, magical cosmic punishment system. The sources explain that, much like modern physics tells us, everything in the universe is fundamentally just a vibration of energy. Karma is simply that, energy and action. Every single action you take, every word you speak, and most importantly, every single thought you generate emits a specific energy wave. Your mind is constantly broadcasting a frequency, and that frequency is actively shaping the reality you experience every single day. And this brilliantly illustrates a tuning the radio metaphor that the sources use. Think of your mind exactly like a radio dial. When you're stressed about bills, furious at your boss, or just complaining about traffic, you are tuned into the anger and greed frequency. And what does a radio do? It just plays whatever is on that channel. Tuning into resentment is literally just attracting more frustrating circumstances. But on the flip side, the Ksitigarbha frequency is tuned to compassion, responsibility, and inner calm. When you shift your dial over to this frequency, you stop attracting all the static and the noise, and you start broadcasting and receiving a completely different, incredibly positive reality. The text itself, along with the repetition of Ksitigarbha's name, acts as what the sources call a high-frequency energy password. It's a practical tool. When your mind starts spiraling into anxiety about a massive work deadline or a really stressful family argument, you can use the teachings and practices of the sutra as a sort of psychological and energetic circuit breaker. It interrupts that low-frequency broadcast of stress and fear and helps shift your mind right back into a state of profound clarity and calm. It essentially aligns your internal energy with a much higher, more stable frequency. Section 1. Practice in work and family. Because let's face it, spirituality that only works when you're sitting quietly on a meditation cushion, that's not very useful when you have a 10 a.m. budget meeting and a toddler throwing an absolute tantrum. Let's look at how this ancient text bridges that gap. In the text, Ksitigarbha actually goes into hell to save suffering beings. Let's modernize that for a second. Sometimes your office feels like hell, right? Toxic coworkers, impossible deadlines, endless complaining. Well, if Ksitigarbha can operate in actual hell without complaining, you can absolutely handle a difficult coworker. It's all about taking responsibility and just showing up with a calm presence. And similarly, the ancient concept of filial piety isn't just about obeying your parents. It means treating your family duties, like caring for aging parents or raising your kids, not as this annoying burden, but as your primary spiritual training ground. So the crucial takeaway here is beautifully summarized in a quote from the sources. The mind is like an artist. You are literally the painter of your own world. Think about it. If you look at your family responsibilities as this huge, heavy weight dragging you down, you're painting a dark, exhausting picture of your life. But if you frame those exact same duties through the lens of compassion and responsibility, recognizing that caring for your loved ones is actually the ultimate practice of love, you literally paint a brighter, more fulfilling reality. The external circumstances haven't changed at all, but your experience of them transforms completely.
Section 2. The 28 Practical Benefits.
Now, right about now, you might be asking, okay, this is all great, but is this actually going to help me pay the bills? Can it help my family survive? And hey, that is a perfectly fair question for any working parent to ask. The source material is actually surprisingly practical about this. It doesn't just promise some vague enlightenment in the afterlife. It explicitly details 28 practical benefits. We're talking a very real return on investment for making this energetic mindset shift in your daily life. Out of those 28 benefits mentioned, these 4 are arguably the most tangible results for someone working hard to feed a family. Basic needs met, meaning you won't be constantly terrified about paying for food and clothing. Kept away from sickness, because, let's be real, a working parent just does not have time to get sick. Happy and harmonious family, which transforms your home from a high-stress zone into an actual sanctuary. And reasonable wishes granted, because when your mind is clear and your energy is positive, you just naturally align with the opportunities that fulfill your goals. This just goes to show that shifting your frequency naturally attracts better material and emotional circumstances. And here's the core mechanism behind all those benefits. The environment changes when the mind changes. I really want to emphasize what the sources make crystal clear here. These benefits are not some transactional reward from a distant deity in the sky paying you for being good. No, it is the natural scientific result of clearing out your negative energy field. When you finally stop broadcasting panic, desperation, and anger, you stop making poor decisions, you stop pushing people away, and you actually start seeing the solutions and opportunities that were literally sitting right in front of you the whole time. The ultimate goal with all of this is pure empowerment. You do not need to shave your head, move to a remote monastery, or spend 6 hours a day chanting to make this work. The sources actually challenge you to be the Ksitigarbha of your own life. Be that anchor of peace at the office photocopier. Be the deep well of patience at the chaotic family dinner table. When chaos inevitably breaks out around you, you are the one who holds that high-frequency energy password. You can literally be the calm in the center of the modern storm. I'm going to leave you with this final, incredibly provocative thought from the sources. If the heart is impure, hell appears. If the heart is pure, the Buddha land is pure. Every single morning, when you wake up to face the day, the commute, the demanding job, the stack of bills, you have a choice. Will you tune your radio to the frequency of frustration and let your mind create a daily hell? Or are you going to take control of your energy, shift your frequency, and turn your reality into a pure land, starting right now? The real power isn't trapped in an ancient text. The power is, and always has been, right inside your own mind. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it completely revolutionizes how you tackle tomorrow.